Hey everyone, this is MrAddOil again, helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. And today we're gonna be the last video in this video series on how to prepare for your coding bootcamp. And today we're gonna cover the topic about mental preparation coming up next. So the first best practice that I have for you is start preparing and building a habit of saying no to things that does not align with your goals, so that when you're actually in your coding bootcamp, when your friends want to go out maybe for a drink, food, or just to play, you can say no. And another powerful principle for you to practice or start learning and implementing into your life now is like the 80-20 rule. It was popularized by Tim Ferriss and probably other famous influencers. And this principle basically says you want to focus on the things, activities in your life, the 20% that produces the 80% of the results. So when you have this framework in place, this will really help you say no to things that are not worth your time in investing. Maybe it will be hanging out with a friend for lunch, but then like this friend, you know, they're not a good influence on you, right? Like they're not really doing much with their life. And versus spending like an hour, 2 hours having lunch with them, maybe you could invest that 1-2 hours into yourself and preparing more for your coding bootcamp. Yeah, so in summary, the power of saying no is super important in you preparing to make your transition to joining a full-time coding bootcamp, because when you say no to the right things, it also allows you to say yes and focus on the right important things that will drive you closer to your goals. Second best practice that I have for you. So be prepared to fail, but welcome success. Have that mentality in place. You know why? Because success is not guaranteed. No coding bootcamp, no one will guarantee you getting a job. Just no one. So I've talked to several developers, people who join coding bootcamps, people who are self-taught developers, and even people who had computer science degrees. They all mention, I mean, the people with like a 4-year degree, it's a little bit easier for them to kind of pitch to companies that they can do their job. But let's say that their 4-year degree is like highly theoretical, and then they only have like a couple classes where they're actually building something. They're not guaranteed a job. The only way you can get a job is whether or not you set yourself up for success in actually being able to code things from scratch, like being a good programmer, right? Like if you can prove to your future employer or your future client that they have this problem that they need to solve, and you are the person who has the skill sets to take that problem and solve it. So if you can do that, then I mean, success is on yourself, not on a coding bootcamp to guarantee you a job. That's one of the reasons why I chose Think Full and Block. I'm going to dedicate another video on how I made that decision to choose Think Full and Block. But one of the reasons it's because I knew that success was not in the bootcamp that I chose ultimately. I read a lot of reviews on Hack Reactor and other bootcamps where the majority of the time, like the students were in charge of their own success. Specifically Hack Reactor, they make you sign a contract saying that Hack Reactor doesn't guarantee you a job. So what were we talking about? Yes, so have that mentality that you will fail, that meaning that you might not get a job that you really want, or you might not even get a job at all. Like that risk is super possible, but welcome success. And then under this framework, you know, I mean, you set your expectations so that you know that you might potentially fail, but you also focus on things that I call like these processes for success, right? Like you focus on the actions, the habits that will get you to where you want to go, and you don't focus on the end result. You focus on the here and now, the processes and the habits that will get you to success. So the key takeaway is you are in charge of your own success, no one else. So instead of, you know, thinking that a coding bootcamp is the silver bullet or the magic bullet that will get you a job, focus on what it takes to actually be a software developer, right? Having those skills, being proficient in it, and being confident that you can handle problems that your future employer, companies, or clients are facing, and you can create a solution. That's the only way you can guarantee success. It's not in a coding bootcamp out there. It's not in these mentors or whatever. I mean, they're all resources that you can use, but ultimately you're in your own way of success. Like if you can manage the habits, the mentality, the framework that you have in your workflow, if you can optimize those type of best practices for yourself, the habits and stuff, that will lead you closer to success versus relying on an external source. And the last best practice for this topic about mental preparation is expectation management, right? Let's say you do graduate, you successfully graduate from a coding bootcamp, and then it's a job searching section. The way I tiered my expectations are in 3 levels, right? First, I have the best possible outcome. This includes like joining a company, a top tech company like Google, Facebook, or whatever, where the culture is awesome, it's more stable, salary, income, benefits, stuff like that. It's pretty top tier. That would be like the best possible outcome. Second, it would be, the most likely situation that, or most likely job that you might have to take coming out of a coding bootcamp, because you're still a newbie, right? You're a junior developer. But I mean, depending on the opportunity that's been given to you and your ability, like you might be able to find a company that values your potential and gives you an opportunity at a private or small public company with like 50 to 200 employees, where that experience is just, or that first role is for you to get into the industry and for you to build your skills. In terms of benefits, salary and stuff, like it will be like in San Francisco, I'm expecting like it's closer to 6 figures. And then like you have like standard benefits like 401k, stuff like that. And then in this tier 2 type of expectation of your first role, like you'll be staying there for like 1 to 3 years to build your experience up. Whereas in the first like best possible outcome type of tier, like that might be the company where you can spend like over 3 years at. And then the last tier, which is I would call it the break-even point, or not the ideal, but the bottom line type of expectation, where you might not, it might just be like an unpaid internship or a very low paid software developer internship that gets you into the door. Like this might happen. This might happen where you're working at a very small startup, stability is not there, the salary expectation and benefits are not there, but you are going to take it anyways because you worked really hard at a coding bootcamp. You already spent a lot of time and resources, and then this is the opportunity that's presented with you in front of you at the time, and you should take it. The benefit of having these like 3 tiers of expectation is that you manage, it's self-management, where you're like, you don't get really depressed if you got a non-paid internship. Like you're already expecting that, and you're mentally prepared to take on that, because you know that once you get sufficient experience, then you can move up the tiers eventually. And that's all I have for this video series. And then in the next video series, or next pieces of content and blog posts, I'm going to be talking about the next step, which is researching coding boot camps and actually deciding on which one you're gonna commit to and attend. And like I mentioned, it's gonna be coming up next. Just look out for that. Again, this is MrAddOil, helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. I hope that this video series was helpful for you. And if you like it, please like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel for future useful content like this.